issue. So
Mm,
today we're recording on LinkedIn, okay, YouTube, and X.
mm,
Oh, okay, all right, okay. I have to use it sometime. And so, guys,
Formerly known as Twitter.
Facebook and I got in a little trouble. I think it because I posted a live video last night. I was watching the basketball game, and
mm-hmm.
I was posting. I was making just a comment, and it was only I thought for about a minute or so. I didn't even know that went against company rules. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and so today I set up the Boomerang Radio Show, and I clicked on Facebook and said this user is not allowed to post live videos. I said, "Oh my
Mm,
goodness!" Now my
mm,
channel still works. Okay, my YouTube, my Facebook channel still work,
mm.
but it blocked me out of all every YouTube. Facebook channel that we have, and we broadcast using three.
Mm,
Okay, no four. Let's see. Studio W, the Buzz has two, and then there's Teens Talk Truth, and then there's the sports page.
mm.
And so I followed the dispute. I don't know how far this is going to get me, but anyway. Well, we're still live and we're still on. You can also listen to a VR apps, ladies and gentlemen. That still works. William Worldwide is on Apple. Okay. Or if you have the link, just click on it. It'll go there. Let's see. Our other app is Android, and that is Studio W. And the website is always available on the website. This show will be up in about 24 hours on the website. That's Studio W, the Buzz. Studio W dot Buzz, Studio W Buzz.com. All of that. So anyway, uh, Ann, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Even going through all of that, I'm still great. I'm here and I'm talking to you guys, so I'm cool. Great show yesterday. Quite an
Oh,
interesting gentleman. You want to
yeah.
tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, Minister Andy Charles, he was awesome yesterday talking about the ultimate 10 keys to growth, development, and empowerment. And he had some really awesome insights. If you missed it, you really should listen to the replay and you should get his book.
Okay.
He's also a podcaster as well, so you can listen to his podcast too. But
Okay,
yeah,
great.
he was awesome.
He was awesome. Hey, bring your mic a little bit closer to you.
I'm
Because you
sorry. Yesterday I moved it because of that echo, and I wasn't sure if it was me that
no,
was causing the
it
echo.
wasn't you at all. As a matter of fact, I sent a private chat to
The guest.
your guest,
Mhm.
and because there was something in his background, because I noticed when I muted his mic, it wasn't there, so it wasn't you at all.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, no, 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 not at all. And now, Mike, tell everyone about the Mad Mike and Wild Will Coast to Coast show.
I would love to. Thank you, William. So,
Yes,
what
sir.
we do, what we have done for the past year plus, is we've tried to bring people to a safe area where they can listen to different genres of music. So, you might listen to classical, to big band, to swing, to rhythm and blues, to current pop, to old rock, old country, new country, reggae, you name it. We play it all, and we do it on purpose. We want you to widen your horizons as far as listening to music and get out of your comfort zone. So if you listen to, like, there's a station out here called K Frog, which I love. It's a country western station, but they play the same 12 songs every
Oh
hour on
wow!
the hour, and it just
Wow!
kills me. It's like, come on, mix it up a little bit. So what William and I do on Coast to Coast on Thursday nights is we mix it up, and it's the Wild Will and the Mad Mike show, and we have a good time doing it. And we talk about the songs, we talk about the background of the songs, who the artists are, we talk about where the song was developed from, and then we also like to highlight. Like last Thursday, we highlighted a young lady who was instrumental in playing on so many. She played for the Beach Boys and Sam Cooke, and she did the songs for the Munsters and the Brady Bunch, and she was the artist, the
Mm-hmm.
studio artist that actually played on those recordings. The
Wow!
bands the bands weren't actually doing the recording. the studio artists were doing the recording as far as like what you listen to. And this gal, she started out playing guitar, and then she ended up loving the bass. So if you listen to her, you look her up. I'm her name Kate, and I'm trying to remember her last name. But I mean, she played for decades
Let
on
me find.
some of the biggest hits you have ever heard in your lifetime. And so
Absolutely.
we highlighted her last Thursday, and William allowed me to do that. And thank you, William.
Oh, no problem at all. No, Mike. I think if there was the music that she produced or and was instrumental in playing on. I mean, it's up in the thousands. And I think
Oh, easily.
I heard something about 10,000.
Probably.
Hold on, let me see.
She was part of a group that was the studio musicians. So when somebody who actually wanted to record that song, whether it's the Beach Boys or Sam Cooke or someone else, they went to this small group of studio musicians who actually did those recordings that you listen to. And you thought it was the band playing that. You were wrong. I was wrong. I didn't know.
There was Carol
this
K.
small group. What's her name? Is
Carol K.
Carol K. Yes, thank you, William. I don't have it in front of me here, but yeah, she was the one gal that was in the group of musicians, and they looked at her not as a female. They looked at her as a very fine musician that started out on a guitar and went to bass. So the fact that her own group of studio musicians accepted her as just a wonderful musician was a feather in her cap. So yeah, God bless her. She lives here in Southern California. She lives here in California still to this day.
Wow. You know, I don't know. We didn't talk about her age, but what was she has to be up there, probably in her 70s. Would you think?
Well, I'm going to say in her late 60s or possibly 70s. I didn't look it up, and I really don't care because what she can do.
Right. I'm gonna tell you why.
I get a little callous sometimes, but the fact that she for decades, you were listening to her music and her, the thing from like what was it? Da 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 dum bum bum da 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 dum from the what was that the Munsters that was her.
Right.
That was her.
Wow.
Was that the Monsters?
Brady Bunch? She did Sam Cooke. She did the Beach Boys. She did all these different artists because she was part of this accepted studio group, musicians. And these are the people that you actually heard on the record, even though they didn't get any credit.
That's right. Wow. If you notice in a lot of music, before I go there, what really excited me, and I was really intrigued about. She started playing when she was 13 years old, and 1 year later, she was teaching. Can you imagine?
She still teaches. She still teaches to this day.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, Cece, she just said it's taking her a little bit longer to sign in because her computer wants to update. That's okay. Hey, Dr. Sims, whenever you get ready, just come on. Okay, we'll talk about it. But that was really that was I had no idea. And so, Mike, I sent Mike a couple of emails this week, a few days ago, and that was about.
No, I'm not lending you money. I'm not lending you any more money. I don't care how many emails you sent me.
Why not, Mike? Mike. Nobody's listening.
I have enough dependents as it is.
Mike.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Mike,
sorry.
All I need is about 20 grand, bro. Gotcha.
Bruh, stop.
Only.
You have got to stop. You got to stop. You got to stop.
That's all. That's a drop.
I got a $1.52 for you.
No, that's a drop in the bucket because look here. I know you saved a lot on a Trump tax credit. I know
Oh
you
my
did.
gosh, stop it. Stop. Y'all
And
have
were you on?
I claimed six. I claimed six children. I claimed six kids. I don't even have, for crying out loud.
oh my gosh.
And were
Y'all
you
have
on
got
last
to
week?
stop.
Not true, by the way.
And
IRS, that was a joke.
All I'm saying is that may be taken as a confession.
you know, hey Mike, you know they have ears everywhere, right? They have
I
ears.
Well,
know.
of course they do.
I
They're
know.
Oh,
people.
Siri,
oh.
Siri, and who's Alexa and Siri, and yeah.
As a matter of fact, hey, don't say it too loud. And one day I was on. We're getting all off subject here, but we didn't even
Okay.
have one to start with. Did we?
Y'all something else.
Excuse me.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no. The weather
Okay.
is changing. Oh, let me tell you what's happening. I have okay. I have allergies,
Oh
and the
Lord.
pollen is thick out
Yeah.
there. It
It's
is
pollen
awful.
season. It's
Okay,
pollen
and
season.
then I tell you, let's go on and throw a little sugar on it. The weather has changed. And let's see. Wednesday, I think it got up to about um, no Tuesday 90 degrees. Uh,
Right.
Wednesday 85. Then it dropped, and today it's about 60,
Mm,
and it's raining.
mm.
And so, forgive me. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut up for a little bit after I finish my point here. But what Mike and I do each and every Thursday, like I said, it is time to just relax a little bit,
Yeah.
just kick back because if you turn on the news, you tend to get depressed.
Mm,
And so what I used to, I had a regimen. I get up in the morning, fix breakfast, have a cup of coffee, and turn on the news.
mm-hmm.
And I ended up feeling bad. And when I walked away from the table, I ended up feeling bad. I'm saying, whoa, but with everything going on, I mean, just name it. And the
Right.
wars is going on. The protest is going on. I want to
Yeah.
I want to talk about that a little bit too. The
Yeah.
protest is going on around the country. With the we have Palestinians that's protesting. You have Jews that's or Israelis that's protesting, and
Mm,
all of this stuff, and the disruption that's
mm.
going on these college campuses. I hate to see that happen. You know,
Right.
and a few of them have turned violent. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys noticed it or not. And I was
Mm,
thinking that this is just a ticking time bomb, Mike, on these campuses before someone starts, uh, before they get arrested because of the violence. And
mm-hmm.
you also want to see this. And then you have students. You have many more students that aren't protesting that just want
Mm-hmm.
to go to class and finish.
Right.
Some need to graduate. Some graduations, I understand, have been canceled. You know, and whether it's high school or college, one of your proudest moments in your life when you
Mm-hmm.
walk across that stage and get your diploma. Okay, you don't want to get your computer, I mean, your diploma by mail. You don't want to do
Right.
that. You want to meet up with your friends and you guys get together. Maybe one last time, maybe the last time you see these people in person. And
Mm-hmm.
if you've been with them 4 years or however long, and I think it's a shame. I don't know what can be done about it, and I want to talk about that just a little bit. What are some things, and being in as your field as a judge, Mike, your field as a former investigator, I really don't have. I don't know. I have no idea on how they're going to fix it. So then you have the public and even some of our politicians calling for the presidents of these universities to resign. I, I don't go along with that. I don't know why. What is the president supposed to do? Whatever side he take, and I think that he or she has to remain neutral. So if they take a side, somebody, whatever side they take, if they take one, you're going to have a lot of people that's not going to like that decision. If they
Mm-hmm.
stay neutral, and people, if they go, no one's, they're not going to like that either because say, why don't you do something? So, and I want your take on that because
Um,
it's disturbing to me.
well, the whole thing has been a quagmire of one
Mm,
horrible situation after another. I mean, beginning, with what happened in October.
mm,
Excuse me. As soon as it happened, I was like, just
mm-mm.
gave them the excuse that they need to go
Wow.
full throttle on you, because there's always been tension um
Oh yes.
between the Palestinians and the Israelites, since the Israelites reclaimed that area as their own, and it's only gotten worse, especially since you couple it with the fact that they knew that they had intel that this was a possibility, but they underestimated the threat because they didn't think it could be pulled off. And so now you've got a successful terrorist attack, and in response, basically they've overreacted. And I believe me, I know what it's like for someone to hurt you and your response isn't proportional to what transpired. I completely get it. I think every human being is guilty of that. However, what we have going on right now is just a huge humanitarian crisis. On the one hand, you've got hostages being held, Israeli hostages being held, and then on the other hand, you got the Israelis, shooting everything that moves, including some their own people at times. They've killed some friendlies a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken, on two separate occasions. A couple of people were some kind of way on their way back home, and they were waving flags, but they got shot anyway. um and it's sad. It is horrifically sad. My problem with what's going on here, because I don't have a problem with anybody protesting, my problem is, watching the news reports, the majority of the people that they are arresting aren't students of those campuses. So I'm concerned that you have some people who are
Instigators.
who are agitators, who are, possibly even people who are trying to take advantage of this as another way to destabilize the United States in some way. And the biggest fear, would be someone who's a true terrorist, who's insinuated himself into this crowd of people who want to protest legitimately, legally, but they're there. These other people who aren't students are there to take advantage of this situation and wreak another level of havoc, right here in America. So I think we've got a whole lot to consider, in terms of how we handle it, because you don't want to inadvertently um, make people more sympathetic to a cause and then become radicalized in some way. But at the same time, we have to do something about these outside agitators who are infiltrating these peaceful demonstrations and causing unnecessary issues. Mike, you look like you wanted to say something while I was talking. What did you want to add?
Oh no, I'm fine to wait. And Doctor Sims, thank you for being here.
Hey, lady, how are you?
I'm glad you made it.
I'm good.
So I'm going to oversimplify this in a big way. So forgive me.
Okay.
I'm going to look at this from a world perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to take the world as being the parental position, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to look at because I'm not going to take a side either way here. I'm going to look at Hamas, and I'm going to look at
Mm-hmm.
Israelis as two children behaving badly.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have two children in your home, which is our world, that are
Mm-hmm.
behaving badly, and this has been going on for I'm guessing hundreds of years. I don't know history that well,
Long
but I mean,
time.
this is nothing new.
Right.
So it's going to continue to go on. Let me address the colleges first. Your educational facilities, your colleges, and whether it's high school, college, or whatever, those are positions where you go to get an education, hopefully an
Right.
education.
Right.
That's not a platform for you to act badly or for you to
Right.
protest. Do you have every right to protest peacefully? Absolutely, you do. You've got the First Amendment right. But who said that it's okay to go to the college, which is an institution of higher learning, and go act badly because they don't take their act right pills? I think sorry, but I mean it sounds like to me as a parent, if my children are acting out that way and throwing temper tantrums because they took side A or side B, again, I'm not going to take either side A or side B, and you're going to act out and you're going to point fingers and act badly, well then maybe you need to go to your room.
Right.
So I know I'm oversimplifying, and I'm doing it on purpose. So that it doesn't belong on college campuses. Those are institutions of higher learning. You go there to get educated and come out of those institutional training facility, not training, but I mean learning facilities, and become a part of society that's beneficial to society. And you, by throwing temper tantrum on these campuses, it's not productive. If you want to protest, well, then find a way to protest peacefully elsewhere. That I don't think that's a place to do it. And I think that what the colleges need to do is draw a hard line and go, no, we're not going to accept this. It's unacceptable. You're acting out, and go to your room. We're not going to deal with it.
Well, in some sense, I think that they have done it, and I don't know if you can say it's backfiring or what. Calling the actual police to come to a college campus to stop protest. Some people think it's extreme, but when you consider the fact that a lot of the people arrested aren't even students of the institution.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think it is. I think it was necessary because we're not dealing with just kids here. We're dealing with some people whose motivations we don't
bad
quite
actors.
understand. Yeah,
bad actors. So in law enforcement, what we do, what we've been taught to do, is if there's an issue that you have to deal with, you ask, then you tell, then you make. So please, would you do this? Okay, I'm not asking anymore. I'm telling you, you need to grab a piece of curb and sit down. And if you're not going to do that, then I'm going to make you grab a piece of curb and sit down, or I'm going to handcuff you and put in the back of the car. So you ask, you tell, and then you make. Those are the three levels of that you do in law enforcement. So again, this is not proper time, proper place is what my mom used to say. Proper time, proper place. That's not. You can you go to the grocery store and act that way? No. Well, you shouldn't be doing it on the college campuses either. So now let me take it the next step. Let me look at the world view. So we have two sides that hate each other, that want to kill each other. And I had a very smart friend of mine. He's a retired fire captain. And I said, how does this go on? How do people just like kill their fellow man and walk away like it's nothing? And this is what he told me. And this was like when this first happened back in October, I think it was. He told me, listen, Mike, both sides look at the other side as if they're gophers in their yard. And they think either side thinks nothing of killing a gopher in their yard because it means nothing to them. They're not a human being. They're just a gopher in your yard. And I thought that was very profound of him to like point it out to me, and I thank him for that. So when you look at the other side and you don't even see them as human beings, that's a huge problem. So until we can look at each other in the face and look at each other as if you're a human being and your life matters, and again, A or B that hate each other, there's not going to be a resolution to this until we
Right.
can look at our fellow man as a fellow man. And then what you have to do is say the world as being, I'm going to label the world as being the parental influence here, is you go to both sides, A and B, that hate each other. Pick, I don't care if it's USA or Canada or whatever. In this case, it's obviously Israel and Hamas. You look at both sides and say, listen, like you're your children, and you have two grown boys or two teenage boys. And you say, I'm not going to tolerate this. You guys
Right.
figure it out. You guys draw your lines. And once you draw your lines, that's it. It all stops. You may not like each other, but that's it. We're not going to the world should not tolerate this. And I would extrapolate that further than just this particular war. I would extrapolate that into other areas of the world and say same thing. Listen, you guys figure this out, and then once you do, that's it. And it all stops because you're interrupting the world process here. Your arguments between you two for hundreds of years or possibly thousands of years,
Wow.
you're now interrupting the world. So stop it. It's not going to be tolerated anymore. And the world, once again, being the parental influence, should say, no, we're not going to tolerate this. And I'm not saying the UN, I'm just saying the world in general should say, if you want to look at Russia and Ukraine and all that, say, listen, you guys figure this out, and then you leave each other alone and move
So
on.
how do you expect the world to say you figure this out and then you move on? Just letting them fight them out, letting them fight it out, or?
That's a really great question, and then you know what? I don't have a really great answer other than the world should say, knock it off. You're screwing up everything else in the world. Knock it off. It's not going to be tolerated. So I don't know if sanctions or whatever else or taking and fencing them off, say, okay, you're not going to do world business until you guys knock this crap off, because this is childish. This is high school. This is junior high crap. And I get it. People die from what's going on. But for the world to continue to be okay and just stand back and watch these wars continue. And again, I don't care which side you're looking at, knock it off.
Right. You know, hey, Dr. Sims, how are you?
I'm blessed today. How are you?
Great. Glad to have you on. You know, we were talking, and you've heard enough of this, and I want you to chime in. And I want the audience to think about something, not only at the panel, and I want you guys to take on this, because I've been listening, and I apologize, I had to step away. This pollen is awful out here. But anyway, what do you guys think about this? And I've heard this before, that when there are wars and conflicts around the world, the elite make a ton of money. They make a ton of money. Well, look at, you've got manufacturing of equipment. You've got all of this stuff, and whether it's planes, bombs, ammunition, whatever it is, these guys are making a ton of money. And don't you think for a minute that these guys are not heavily invested in weaponry, artillery, whether it's clothing, guns, ammunition, food, whatever it is. And I'm wondering, Mike, because this is something that I heard years, and Dr. Sims and Ann, is that these guys cash in when wars are started. Okay. And I'm wondering who really started these conflicts.
Well,
Okay.
And who fuels the fire? Who's throwing gasoline on it?
That's right. Because
you know who's doing it. You know
you
who's
take the
doing
top.
it. Come on.
No, I'm not, no, to take this away from the political thing. I'm talking about people who run the politicians. Because you think about this, these politicians, they come in poor as a church mouse and leave like and leave like fat cats. All right,
well,
okay. Now they still make too much money for what they do. I mean, 6 months off and you're making $178,000 a year. Come on, how do I get that job? I mean, think about this.
You have to have a
Vacations,
nasty
Me
background.
too.
and
Me
then on
too.
top of that, and then there is, I have no proof of it, but I've heard from different sources and even reading about this, that do you know that the Congress, that they have a special shopping mall they can go to buy anything they want, tax
Mm,
free.
mm,
Okay, they get lifetime health care. Man, these guys, I'm telling you right now, and there's so many different. And then they have these lobbyists
Mm,
that's padding their pockets. But
mm,
then, but these are the small guys. I'm
mm,
talking about Dr. Sims going all the way up to the top.
mhm,
And let's take this out of the political realm. You've got a puppet masters here. I would say the 1 to 5%. Okay. Now the rest of us is down there in that 95%, and depends on your economic status as far as money is concerned. You could be on the lower rung of that
We're
ladder.
we're we're, we're
mm.
the pawns on the chessboard.
We
We're
are.
the
Wow.
pawns.
So think about
Wow.
this. I really think this is something. They say you get now Israel and Hamas, or
Mhm.
Israel and Palestine has been fighting all the time. Now, I don't want to mix up Hamas with the Palestinians. You've got
Right.
women and children that have nothing to do with Hamas.
Exactly.
Okay, Hamas is that pseudo government. They've really taken over the government.
Hmm.
Okay, in Palestine, and then there's always been a conflict there because if you really go do your research and do your history, that was really Palestinian land. That was Palestinian land. Okay, you do your history. Don't take my word for it. But let me get back to this.
What
And
what
Dr.
hey,
Sims,
William, I got to interrupt you. What was the U.S.? Whose land was this?
oh,
Uh
that was
oh.
the Native
There
Americans.
it is. There it
let's be
is right
real
there.
about the whole matter.
There it
Can I
Yeah,
is.
jump in
Just
real quick?
saying.
Can I
that's
jump
right.
in, please?
That's right. And so, Dr. Sims, I want you to jump in and say anything you would like. But
Mhm.
also, I want to address this thing about the puppet masters using us as pawns, dividing everyone, dividing the cultures, dividing the races, dividing everybody, and pitting everybody against each other. And you're going to have conflict. And I think that these clowns are profiting from this.
On
Okay.
Sure they are.
purpose.
Okay,
Sure they
Dr.
are.
Sims.
First off, you guys, thank you for praying for my family. We laid my sister to rest on yesterday,
Mm.
and then I have some
Wow.
good news.
Oh, heartfelt
My
condolences.
grandbaby, my grandchild, who's in the military, going on 8 years, she graduated with her BA for human resource management. She graduated top
Praise
of
the
her class,
Lord.
better than 3.0, and
Praise
she
God.
is a been inducted in as an honorarium in Sigma Beta Delta,
Yes.
Praise the
and
Lord.
she has several ropes around her neck and sashes. But she's already enrolled into her master's class, which she will be
Awesome.
graduating that class because the limited units is she needs. So she's
Wow.
a go getter. She's also a master sergeant. So I just want to
Mhm.
give her a shout out.
Did you
Praise
say
the
So
Lord.
she's also a master sergeant?
yes, been
That's
in
a
the
big deal, by
military
the way.
for eight
Master
years.
That
sergeant's
is
a
Glory to
big
a
God.
deal.
huge deal.
Of course
Glory
it
to
is.
God.
Yes, it is.
Oh wow, that is
I've
huge.
got a
That is
captain
huge.
on the police force, master sergeant. God has blessed my family. Good.
Yes,
Yes,
He
yes,
has.
yes,
Praise
yes.
the
So I'm
Lord.
kind of solemn
He,
because my sister was a sweetie pie, so
Of course.
she's going to be greatly missed. But anyway, getting to this, and I'm so sick of our government, and I'm just going to be honest across the board with this foolishness. They've been doing this for years. This is not something that just
Yep,
you went
that
around
is
the
true.
corner and it started. It started with our culture way in slavery time. Let's go on back, okay? They
Mhm.
use us as puppeteers. We're money makers, okay? And they're doing the same thing to us. Now, here's what my daughter and I we discussed. We discussed this
Mm,
government quite thoroughly. They throw diversions, they create diversions, so you
Mm,
can't see what they're really doing. And in
mm,
those diversions, they're collecting money while the city is in an unrest. And
mm-hmm.
mm.
we were talking about the foreign countries, and I, God knows that I have a heart for everybody, but they'd walk right past United States, okay?
Mm.
And I've got a serious issue with that. Now, with the students in the colleges with their unrest, I believe it was orchestrated.
Mm,
Because it reminds me when I went to high school, everybody could hold hands and we were all friends. But when it came close to the end of the year, it was a race riot. I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
mm,
I can hug up my white brothers and sisters, Latinos, what have you. But at the end, it was you have those few cockeyed. Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to be kind with this. Trying to be
don't
very,
hold
very
back now.
kind with this.
No.
And you have some that incite things uh,
Mhm,
specifically designed to do that. And I was one of the ones who stood up against it because I can't stand it. But
mhm,
anytime you have a government who tries to choke,
Mm,
send vile things on other countries, guess what you're going to get? I'm
mm,
looking at the unrest. Let's go down in history. When you go over there to Dubai, Dubai don't like, and I'm just going to bring out a gamma of things because it's going to fit in the pot here. When you
mhm,
try to choke down a lifestyle that's been accepted over here in these United States, and let's go on with it. You know, the ones who took our flag, not our flag, but our rainbow. You know what I'm talking about. And
mm,
so when you go to Dubai and tell them you do this, and Dubai says we're not going to accept that lifestyle over here, which Dubai has every right. United States is not their lord, they're not their president, they're not their ruler. But you're going to
We're
go
not the
over there
world
and
police.
thank you. And you're going to go there, put your little slew foot hands into something and try
mhm,
to make somebody. That's dictatorship. And when
mm,
you are turned down, listen, I know some people like this who's so controlling. When they're turned down, they would do anything to cause you pain. So
mhm,
who did President Obama call sanction on those people? We're going to stop your food. We're not going to have you do this. In other words, you're going to force something down somebody's throat. This has been the history of United States. And I'm sad. It is just a travesty. And yes, we are puppets. And I felt this a long time ago. And I think I said this. We are puppets. And the fat cats in the upper echelon, the middleman, and the dirty ones sitting up there in the pop in the White House, they got bad history and fraud and all this kind of stuff. That's why I made that comment. You said, what does it take for you to get into? Why just have a dirty background? Because if you look at most of them, their background is not squeaky clean. They got some illegal activities that happen in their background. But I hate people that look at people and call you something else and they don't look in their own house. The Bible talks about that. Look, get that old
They
big
don't
old
have any
beam out your
mirrors.
own eye while you
mhm,
flashing a flashlight. And this is what our government does. And it's a travesty. And they instill fear in people so that you won't speak up. And this is not cool. And a lot of people are acting out of fear. Now, regarding the schools, I believe they have some charlatans um, fixed in there to incite riots. Because at first it was just a peaceful demonstration, but you get them sick kids who, with some of them sick mamas and daddies, just as sick as they are, get in there and incite hatred. We've got some people who are hating people, don't know why they're
mm.
hating people. And it is a travesty that you have many who are not involved in this get injured, get thrown in jail. And I heard you say a lot of them that are there don't even belong to the college. So
nope.
why are they there? I mean, put two and two together. Implants, just like the surrection with Donald Trump. You had some police officers, some military men that were not even a
FBI.
part of that, but they were planted. We have to look at the
Whoa,
history
whoa.
of this United States and how they operate. They don't play fair. They don't play fair. I
Dr.
remember,
Sims, I got a question to ask you.
yeah.
Let's go back to something you said about police officers being planted. Are you
Mhm,
talking about
yeah.
the January 6th riot?
And that's been a proven fact. If you go back to your
No.
news and Mike can contest to this, they had it was based on what they were. They were incognito, but they were based on what they wear and what they did. Forgot to change the shoes.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll be real. And am I right about this, Mike? They
Yeah.
forgot to
Oh,
change their
you
shoes.
are dead on.
Yeah,
Absolutely. In
Oh,
my
that's,
opinion,
and
no,
in
I'm
my
just
opinion, you are
okay.
dead on.
I just want to be clear about something.
yes.
The police officers that were planted,
Hmm.
okay, and we need to fact check all of this.
They were the ones cutting up too. They were
Yeah.
cutting
Well,
up.
good luck on fact checking it
Wait a minute.
because
Oh, you
because
talking about the police
the
officers?
government's not going to admit to it.
I got a question. Hold on, hold on. Are you talking about there were police officers implanted in the crowd.
Yes, sir. It was all on the
Okay,
news.
okay.
Yes.
Now, okay. Then my question is, who were they planted for? Because uh,
They were just planted to stop stuff.
let me finish. Let me finish,
Yeah.
and I'll let you continue because this is getting real good. The police officers that were planted in the crowd,
Hmm.
if and I believe that there were some officers planted. Then who were they planted for? Because if there were no police officers in my opinion, if there were, and I don't doubt that they were, and I believe so, then they were planted in there for Trump by Trump to benefit Trump because Joe Biden had already won the election. Now they weren't in
You're
there for
missing you're missing the
no,
point, Reverend.
no,
You're
no, no,
missing the
no, no, no,
point.
no, no, no,
Yeah, you
no,
are.
no.
Well,
Oh no,
I'm
I'm
going to answer the question. I'm going to answer the point.
not.
I'm
I'm
going to
not
answer
finished
it.
asking it.
Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Dr. Demery, hey, what's going on, my friend? Oh, this is getting gooder and gooder and gooder. More, 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 more. So, what I'm saying is, Biden had won the election, right? And there has always been an agreement to transfer or make the transfer a peaceful transfer of power. Okay? If you notice, several months before, Trump invited people. Now, he did this, okay, on the same day that Joe Biden was supposed to be certified, on the same day, okay, to be certified. Trump planned a rally the same day, a few miles from the Capitol, okay? And he told these people, go up to the Capitol. I'm going to be with you, okay? Go up to the Capitol. So, my first, this is several parts to this question. My first question is, why would you do that? Go up there for what? He has already lost, and every president before him has transferred over power peacefully. He's got a mob of people, and some were carrying weapons. They also had a stash of weapons over here in Virginia, the state that I live in, okay, that in case they needed them, because Washington, D.C., you cannot, I don't think you can carry a gun or something about that. You're not allowed to carry a gun, and especially on Capitol grounds. Okay? You had a mob of people that broke down fences, they assaulted the police, broke into the Capitol, smashed windows, and entered the Capitol illegally. So, going back to what you were saying, Dr. Sims, my question to you is, who were those police planted for? Because there was proven to be police officers, ex-military officers, active military officers that were pro-Trump. Okay? So, do you think, does anybody think that Biden would plant police officers there to disrupt his own election? It doesn't make any sense at all. So if you're gonna go down that path there, then back it up and say, well, the people that were planted, police officers that were planted by Trump and his administration. So, because otherwise, it makes absolutely no sense at all. But why would Biden want to interrupt his own uh, uh, election, and affirm. So, continue, Dr. Sims.
Evil is as evil is, and it doesn't
No,
matter
no,
to
no,
me.
no, no.
No, can you let me answer the
Hey,
question, please? Let me
Please.
answer the question since you
Okay.
posed it to me, please. And I'm saying my statement, just like who they planted during this riot in the unrest in the colleges. People will do what they want to do. Evil is as evil is. Okay, it is what it is. And people will try to save face. They will try to do it. We know the history. All I'm saying, okay, whether Biden, whether Trump,
No,
that's
no, no.
here.
In
Can
that
I
case,
finish
let
my
her
statement,
finish.
please? Regardless, evil is as evil is. Everybody has an agenda. I'm not for Biden or for Trump. I'm still making up my mind. It is what it is. My thing is I'm speaking as a general census here regarding what's going on in the school, the unrest in this world. Who's responsible for it? Let's deal with it. We know our government is crooked, okay? Period. It's proven, okay? Regardless of whether it's written on paper or not, we can see what's happening, all right? You cannot choke your rules and your regulations by different continents because you think you're God. You cannot do that. You got your hand in everything. And that's what I'm alluding to. I'm not going to have no argument over all I know what happened during that time. I'm not going to debate with you on that. What I'm talking about right now is what's going on right now.
I
Okay.
understand that.
Regarding these students in school, they were planted in there. Who planted them? Okay. Since we want to talk, who plants anybody in any unrest during the riots? Who did that? Who plants what? Who keeps people down? Who keeps people poor? Gatekeepers. Who watches here? Who watches? They don't want you to come up with the come up. Who plants different cultures in cities? They bank off of black dollars, but our black people cannot have good businesses in these countries, in these states. Who does that? Let's put the finger where it belongs. It belongs, and you said it. We are being puppets, okay, on every respect. I don't care what is written because I am convinced and know for a fact people can alter statistics and letters and documentations. That does not sit in concrete in my spirit because somebody wrote it down. We have a bunch of liars up there, and this nation is not God fearing anymore like they used to be. So the devil is subject to tell you anything and you will believe it because it's written with ink and white paper. That doesn't mean it's legal. Okay. It's because
If
they put it
if
there
it's on
for
the
us
internet,
to
if
be
it's on the internet,
confused.
it must be true, right?
Yeah,
If it's on the
it's
internet,
not
It's
my
true.
thing. My
I,
thing, and
I
I'll finish with
understand.
this last statement. Just this last statement.
Please go on,
I
please.
think I'm feeling this way because I'm dealing with people who are going through things horrifically emotionally, who are dealing with things even in this United States, even in my same city in the United in LA in various areas. And I am so sick and tired of our hands being in every other person's issue than not fixing here at home. You're putting a band-aid on stuff, okay, making it look like you care, but you really don't care because if you did, you would do better by us. And then my problem is how you find the reason for you printing money when you could have print money for me. You could have print money for the other person who was laying out in the street. And all of a sudden, you can print money. Let's just put it all in one barrel here. You can print money for everybody that's coming over the border, but you can't print money for those who've been lying in the streets. 46,000 in LA alone. I saw a picture in Oakland, California. It is a travesty. I mean, this is across the board. And you're going to, and I don't want people to sit there and tell me, oh, what's going on here? No, no. Let's deal with my neighborhood. Okay.
Right.
Do something about that. Let's deal in United States, period. Do something about that because we're
Right.
going to hell in a handbasket by
Okay.
these dictators who are up there lying, man, and who, like you said, they're grabbing money at the expense of our pain, at the
I,
expense of our lack. That's what's going on. That's my issue.
okay.
I could care less about who did what, who shot John. Let's
Really?
get the ones who's doing what and shot John and doing things evil. Why don't we look at them and
Right.
stop looking at us and fighting against us, because that's what they rely on,
Okay.
the disunification of us.
Yes. Now, a couple of things. I brought up January 6th because you brought that up.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you said, okay, and you said somebody planted the police officers
That's all I
nefarious.
said.
And I want you to address that. Well, who
I
planted
don't
them?
know. I don't know.
Well,
I
hold it.
don't know who did it. I
Let me.
don't.
Well, you don't. It wasn't Biden.
I
Why
don't
was?
know who it was. I don't know.
I tell you what. I would put my last dollar on it that Biden would not cause an insurrection to upend his own inauguration. That makes absolutely no sense to anybody in
And
the
that's fine. And that's fine. That is your opinion. I
No,
don't know.
it's not an opinion. Why
It
would,
is your opinion.
if I'm elected president of the United States, not saying that I would ever know, I don't want that job. But the point, what I'm saying is, please listen, please understand. If I'm elected president of the United States, the highest office in the world, I mean in the land, and revered around the world, why would I want to disrupt my own certification? That makes absolutely no sense. So and I believe there were police officers and military officers planted in there to cause an insurrection. If I am just elected president, why would I want to cause an insurrection? Come on, Dr. Sims, you're smarter than that. That makes zero sense.
Well, why would you say to somebody who wouldn't follow your LGBT laws and try to choke it down your throat and call sanction? And that was Democrats who did that. That was Democrats.
I'm not going to deal with that what ism.
I know you're not.
No. We can, if we want to talk about LGBTQ, whatever it is, let's do that and handle that at one a section at a time. Let's deal with the issue on the table right now, because anything else is disingenuous. Okay, don't bring up LGBTQ, and then some people want to talk about critical race theory. Other people want to talk about DEI, and we're gonna throw all this in the mix. This is not gumbo we're dealing with right now. Let's deal with one issue at a time. You mentioned about the January 6th riot in your dialogue, okay, which I appreciate. But then you said there were police planted there. Keep in mind, it was an insurrection. So you can't say that you don't know who did it, because it has to be. Why in the world would I ever want to disrupt my own inauguration or certification to be president of the United States? Logically, that is insane. That makes zero sense to me at all. Okay, I mean, you can chuckle. You can chuckle. No, I tell you what. That is absolutely insanity to believe that. No, I'm not going to talk about those both sides crap here now, because this makes absolutely zero sense at all right now.
And what are they talking about?
Okay, Dr. Dimmer.
I just was asking Ann what they're talking about. She's the rational.
Well, we went from Israel and Hamas to January 6th, having police being embedded within the crowd. That give you an idea,
Police being embedded in the crowd.
right? Being part of the crowd of people
instigating
at the rally.
Okay, yes. Okay, so there are a couple of different things that Dr. Sims brought up. She went from the student protest that's going around the country
I went a
to
whole
January
lot.
6th, okay, up to LBGTQ. I mean, to a whole different thing. But what I'm saying is, let's focus on one thing at a time. And so, in Dr. Sims' dialogue, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, she mentioned something about police being planted in that January 6th insurrection. Okay? And my point was, if there were police and military planted in there, and yes, there were police officers in that crowd. I agree with that. They were ex-military, and actually, I'm getting a feedback from somebody.
I'm gonna mute my mine just in
I
case.
don't know whether it's you or not. Let me see. No, okay, yeah, that was you, Ann. Okay, you're the culprit this time. No, absolutely. Women, hold it. Oh no, Mike was the culprit. Mike was the culprit. Yeah, Mike, what do you got going
Yeah.
on?
William,
Okay,
all
hold
I
on.
said, I got too
Hold on,
excited.
hold on.
I did to you what you do to us. But anyway, what I
What?
did, Dr.
I,
Debbie, I
I,
made a big old gumbo pot of everything that is distasteful to me. I did everything. I did everything about the schools. I did about LGBT choking down continents, different continents that we shouldn't go over there and make them accept a lifestyle that they don't want to, and then give sanctions to that. I just did a great big old pot. Yeah, my mistake was bringing up the military and police officers incognito in this insurrection. We were talking about also the schools, how they have people planted there to incite riots and things like that. It's a whole gamut thing. My thing was a big pot. Okay, that is my unrest. That's my uneasiness and all of this. And so, William, I get it. I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I get it. My thing is this: my thing was a whole melting pot. I'm not gonna say come see, come saw. Evil is as evil does. It is what it is. And that was my opening statement. It is what it is. And that's my feeling. Okay. And right now, I'm having uneasiness about what is going around us and what is happening. And that was my whole statement. Okay. Not to end up in no argument about who shot John and who did this, that, and the other. Put one on the chopping block. That is not my issue right now. My issue right now, there's sin all the way around. There's distasteful stuff going on all around. And we can't just pin it on this. We can't do this. We can't do this. Let's put everything. I mean, yeah, we can talk about different topics, but they're all happening at the same time. Come on. It is what it is, you know. And so that's my uneasiness, my
right.
uneasy feeling. And I
But no,
believe I have a right to share that. I believe I have a right to share that.
you
And
do
that's
have a
what
right to say whatever
still,
you want to say,
still
Doctor.
said, I don't know who, and yeah, no, it don't make sense. And my intelligence is not to be insulted. No, it don't make sense to me.
I'm not
Who would,
insulting your intelligence. What I'm
but,
saying, Dr. Sims, hold on one second. Hold on.
uh,
No, what we were talking about was one particular issue. And so,
mm,
yeah, you cannot solve the gumbo in the conversation. And it's okay to argue because when we all leave here, hopefully we are all still friends. That's not it.
yes,
But what I'm saying for clarity purposes to our audience, let's stick to the topic at hand. But in your dialogue, you brought up about the insurrection, and my comment to you was, if there were police officers planted in that crowd, military officers planted in that crowd, then they had to be on. It came from one side, and it had to be from the Trump side. Because what I was saying to you is, it makes no sense for Biden to interrupt his own authorization or inauguration and
Yes, it does.
certification. No, it
Yes,
does
it
not,
does.
Mike. Why would you
No,
do something like
I
that?
can
If
explain
this
if
is
you'd like to.
fairness to me,
I'll explain if you'd like to, but I think Dr. Demery should get a shot before we go any further. But
yeah,
I
I
can,
would love to hear
I can,
this
but I can
because
explain. I can explain the
because
whole.
you and Dr. Sims need your Acray pills. You guys didn't take them today, did you?
I took
Dr.
mine.
you need
I
to
always
take
take
4
my
of them
Acray
I
pills.
yourself.
ain't. I told
I
you. I told you those
William,
Acray pills.
William,
I don't
William,
know. There's
William,
something
are
wrong
you
with
there?
them.
William, William, William.
You hear me?
I can explain, but I think we should give Dr. Dermy a
We
shot at
certainly
what we're
should,
talking about.
and we
And then
certainly
I'll
should.
explain. When he's done, I'll
No,
explain.
okay,
Well,
I believe.
I'll make mine very brief. I had told you guys this book that I read a while back, and it was written by one of the police officers who was on duty at the time, and it was called Stand My Ground. This is one of the police officers who wrote this book. You can go look it up. It's called Stand My Ground, and he explained pretty thoroughly what happened at that incident. Um, he didn't know if there were people planted there or not. Only thing he knew is that he was trying to protect the property, protect the people that were in the Congress and the Senate that were there, and that was his job. Now, whether you want to talk about if there were people planted and all that kind of stuff, I think that will yet to be, verified. But in his book, he described pretty thoroughly what went on and what happened. And I think, it might be a discussion, William, maybe at some point in the future, if we may look at that book and discuss it, because he went into pretty thorough detail. He was a active duty police officer at the time during an insurrection. He was attacked by people. He was hurt. He was just devastated by the fact that, and this has been verified, that there were active duty police officers at that incident who were armed, who had weapons on them, and who threatened this one police officer, as he was saying. And it was pretty devastating when you listen to his story. It was almost like he was at a riot. They were totally overwhelmed by the crowd. They were ill prepared for the onslaught, which was basically the way he described it. It was a riot that went out of hand. The people were just, he said, in full chaos mode. And he said to him, when he looked in some of their eyes, he said they were psychotic.
That's right.
He's not a therapist or anything like that, but he was just describing from his eyes as a police officer what he saw, what he experienced. And I was kind of feeling for him. Mike knows what it's like. I know what it's like when you were a police officer and you feel that you're in a situation that's overwhelmed. You would not go into a bar fight by yourself. You would wait for backup. You would wait for, assistance in dealing with the situation. And that was
never push a bad situation.
Well, that's what he said. He said that he felt like he was in an overwhelming situation, but he had no place to run because he had to act. He was there to do a job, and that was protect the property, protect the people that were there. And it was a really sad situation because you read the book, you hear him talking about through his words that whoever was there to cause destruction, mayhem, and bodily harm to the people. Now, whatever else you want to discuss about the situation, I guess you can. But he went into pretty thorough detail about what went on at that situation, and he didn't go into anything about people being planted and all that kind of stuff. All he knew is that the people were there to cause as much destruction as they could. There were several, I think it was close, he gave an estimate, several $1 million of damage done to the property. Windows busted out, chairs thrown through windows, and property damage, which was total destruction. That would almost be like someone going into, the state capitol building and destroying the property, trying to get to the people. Because he said they were trying to get to the people in Congress, and they even had to escort Pence out because he was at the point of they were going to actually kill him, he felt, if they had gotten to get to some of the dignitaries. Their job was to get to them. And he said they probably would have killed him if they would have gotten a chance. So that's my take on it. I'm only looking at the facts, not what your opinion is or what your personality is or whatever. Those are the facts. This was a story that was given by a police officer that was there, and he wrote the book, and I think he did a pretty good job of explaining what went on.
Right. And I think that I know that officer that you're talking about, and I'm going to take it over to Mike at first, over next. Now, speaking of facts, number one fact, who invited those clowns to Washington, D.C. in the first place? Think about that. Think about who invited. It's none of, we wouldn't even be talking about January 6th if these people weren't invited to this protest or this rally or whatever Trump wanted to do. So, and he wouldn't be in as much trouble about that if he hadn't done this. Okay? And I have to go back to my other point here. Biden, like him or not, okay, we can talk about that a little bit later in the show. Like him or not, and that's up to you. I'm not here to, and I can't tell anyone, whether it's on this panel or in the audience, who to vote for, because voting is a right. And if you are eligible to vote, you have a right to vote for whoever you want to vote for.
And they're
You can
privileged.
vote for a dog if you want to. Okay? You can vote for a cat. I don't care. That's entirely up to you. It makes
Really.
no sense to me. But you have to understand the man lost the election. And he was planning for months. How do I get out? How can I gain my seat back? There are proven people are going to jail right now in several states. You guys heard about the fake electors, for the electoral college. You guys heard about that? Okay, you heard about the fact that Fox was dinged $787 million for false reporting about Dominion voting machines. Are you aware that everybody in his administration, in the first part of his administration, there are about 13 people that have gone to jail? That's never happened to anyone, any other president of the United States. And the fact that if you look at this, let's say Trump is elected for a second term. And let's say, and he has 88 felony charges against him. He's already been proven liable for sexual assault. Trump University, he had to kick up $25 million. Okay. His charity or his nonprofit, he can no longer do business there. Okay. And then he has another civil trial that's, what is it, 400 and some odd $1 million for fraud. And one example is claiming that a 10,000 square condo was 30,000 feet. Okay. Are you forgetting that the Central Park Five that was found innocent, 5 black men that were found innocent, and he still called for their execution? Are you forgetting going back to the 1970s when him and his dad were found guilty of discrimination, housing discrimination? Are you forgetting that when he built the Taj Mahal, he didn't pay the workers there, and a lot of men went bankrupt, and one guy committed suicide? I mean, we can go on and on and on and on. And right now, he's in the middle of a trial right now. You guys know that, and that's a criminal trial. I'm not saying that he's going to go to jail, and I don't that he will. I don't know. Okay, the hush money trial. Okay, and anybody out there that want to vote for him, hey, that's your business. But United States normally around the world had a reputation of being a law-abiding, upstanding country. Whether that's true or not, you guys decide on that. Have we ever had someone who's leading the country that's facing 88 felony indictments? And Mike and I, we talk about this all the time. It's the appearance. If you appear to be corrupt, okay, you don't have to be corrupt. Okay, you don't have to be convicted of anything, but the appearance of so. how would this country look on the world stage? Because I'm gonna tell you something. Appearance on the world stage means something. A lot of people say, "Hey, look, I don't care what it looks like." No, in a situation where you have the leader of the free world, and United States, it was looked at as, look, this is the country that's on the hill. We have set the precedence, or appear to set the precedence around the globe. So, guys, vote your conscience.
I'm sure glad you came to me next.
Yeah, I did. Okay, the floor is yours, Mike.
I'm still waiting.
The floor is yours, Mike. I just said the floor is yours, brother.
So listen, I take the middle of the road here because I don't like either side. As all of you heard me say many times, politicians are liars, cheats, thieves, and whores. So I don't like either side. Both sides are very, very corrupt. And either side will do whatever they have to make the other side look bad. Stalin said, the people are useful idiots. All you have to be able to do is direct them. So if you can capture the minds and souls and bodies of the people, you can make them do your dirty business for you. And I think this happens on both sides. I'm equal about this. I'm very fair about this. I think all of you know me, my heart, and I don't like either side because of the corruption. For you to say that January 6th was driven by Trump, I think you are being naive. Because hang on.
Okay.
Because one side wants to make the other side look bad, whatever it takes. And I think, Trump would do the same thing to Biden, and Biden would do the same thing to Trump, because they are using what I call Stalin's useful idiots. Because if you can get people to like side with you because you spur whatever it is within them that makes them happy, or I'll give you free stuff, or I'll do this, I'll do that. And again, both sides. But if Biden wanted to make Trump look bad, maybe he would plant people at the Capitol building on January 6th to cause this supposed insurrection, which I don't think it was much of an insurrection, by the way.
Really?
But if he could make his opponent look worse by causing this to occur, because they're using useful idiots to do so, both sides will do this. So don't be so naive to believe that they wouldn't orchestrate something to make the other side look bad. And that's the point I'm trying to make, and I think Dr. Sims was trying to make, is like there's no halos here. There's no angels here. They're all corrupt. They're all nasty. They're all doing bad stuff, and they will do anything within their power to make the other side look bad. And that's the point I think Dr. Sims was trying to make, and hopefully I've articulated it correctly. Dr. Sims,
Yes,
William,
you did.
sit.
Yes,
Okay.
Dr. Sims.
Okay.
Whoa.
No, hold on 1 second.
Sit in your
No,
big chair. Let
no.
Dr. Sims get in here.
I will. Let me say something before we transition. But see, I will buy your argument, Mike, if the election hadn't already been decided. But what you're saying
Doesn't
is
matter.
no, hey, brother. Yes, it does.
You're
Yes, it does.
missing the point.
No, you're missing the point, Mike. I'm gonna tell you why, my brother. It would make sense to me if the election had not been decided. The
Doesn't
reason why it
matter. You're
doesn't,
still trying to make the other side look bad.
no, I'm stating facts, brother. Again, go back there. Why would now Biden
I
didn't
want to hear
invite?
from Dr. Sims.
Well, guess what? Hey, she will get her chance. Biden didn't
Today or
invite.
tomorrow.
Today after I finish, Okay, Biden did not invite these clowns to uh, stage a rally. Okay, but Mike, no, dude, I
Yes,
know
sir.
you, Mike. I know you. I know you. I know you. And so, what you trying to do right now? You trying to be controversial because you know good and well. You know
I'm
good and
trying to
well.
point. I'm trying to
No,
point
no.
out the bad on
I
both
know you,
sides.
Mike. Mike, I know you like the both sides argument, and I appreciate everything you do because it makes for a lively discussion. But Biden, say for instance, Biden hadn't won. I mean, the election hadn't been decided yet, and for some reason, there's a rally, blah blah blah. But Biden had already won, so it makes no sense. Your
Oh, yes, it
argument,
does. Oh, yeah. Oh,
no, it does
absolutely it
not.
does.
No, it
No,
does not.
if you're driving nails in a coffin, you want to drive as many nails as you can in that
Right.
coffin.
You
And I
already
really want to
won.
hear. I would, William. I'd really like to hear from Dr. Sims.
I would
Please.
like to hear from Dr. Sims too. But if you look at the post, Biden
Well, okay,
never,
that's working.
no, hold on, brother. He doesn't post things about Trump. Trump posts things about Biden every day up until today, even right now.
I'm not
Biden
a Trump
stays
fan
out of
either.
it. Biden stays out of it. So what I'm saying is, it makes
Oh, he's
absolutely
out of it, all
no
right.
sense. It makes. I want Ann to jump in after Dr. Sims because what you saying, Mike? Hey, brother,
Thank you,
I
CC.
know you.
Thank you.
Look, yeah, okay, but
Well,
Mike,
let's go now.
oh,
Dr. Sims is going to talk for the next 30 minutes.
Oh, that's you're not cute. You're not cute, Bishop Rudolph Demery. That wasn't cute. And stop hiding your face. That wasn't cute. Anyway, I'll say this briefly.
no, take as much time you want.
No, I'll just have this one thing to say. Just this one thing. Just this one thing to say.
William.
The floor is yours. What I like,
Okay.
who I like to comment right after you.
The floor is yours, but he's still talking.
Yeah,
the floor
is
yours, but he's still talking.
Because look here, I'm trying. Hold on 1 second.
Oh God, I got a headache.
Yeah, I know. Hey, get an Acray pill or aspirin or something. Okay,
I got my Acray pills right here.
After Dr. Sim, yeah, you need to put them down. And after Dr. Sim, I want Ann to jump right in. Then we can go back to Dr. Sim, Dr. Dimmy, because I don't. You know what? I think these Acray pills are affecting you guys somehow. Because
anyway, don't try to bring
you
that
and
up.
Michael saying it
Don't
makes
try
no
to bring
sense
that
at all.
up.
Okay.
Stop.
Anyway, I'm gonna step out of the conversation for a while. Okay? Is that okay with you guys?
Hey, do what you do.
When are you stepping out?
Hi.
No, all I'm
We're
saying,
waiting.
okay, and Dr. Demery, no, I don't speak no 30 minutes. I will not accept that from you or anybody. Not even playing or being serious. It is what it is. So my deal is this, is that I say what's on my mind just like everybody else does here.
Yeah, and you and Michael
and some people are shorter than other folks. So don't start putting me on the chopping block because I ain't gonna work. Okay, so let me put that out in the air. All right. So my thing is this, is that what I'm looking at now, and I heard Mike and I hear William, but I do know, even as, and if we want to reflect back to how children, I won, and then people have like little cliques in school and stuff like that. I've been involved in that, and that was distasteful, where you said, okay, so I won, but we're going to make her look really raunchy, so the next time when she tries to play fair or whatever, then we'll make that individual look bad. And I know that happens. If it happens on a lower scale, then it can happen on a greater scale. And I know it does. It happens like that. Whether we want to believe that or not, it's an emotional trip back that people go through. Okay, I wanted to be staying on top and superior. Trump has a problem wanting to be superior, okay, and not abiding by the rules. And many of them have a problem. In the day, we can't just single him out. They just do it on a down low kind of way, a shady kind of way, making innuendos and being very discreet about their mess. But yet they are messy. It is what it is, and you cannot sit up there and look at everybody like they're squeaky clean. If you look at their history, oh my goodness, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. It is horrible. That was been my problem here. We do that amongst each others as a people, and it's terrible that people do that. Okay, love without dissimulation. We're supposed to love without differences, and that's my whole thing. Okay, this trickery and trying to get over and trying to control stuff and be sneaky. I know some trying to be sneaky. Okay, like you don't see them, but all things are lawful, but not expedient for you to say things at the moment. But however, that don't mean it's not in effect. And that is my theory. I've been in this world for a lot of years, and I'm not stupid by no means. I'm gonna keep putting that out there in case somebody keep wanting to insult my intelligence. Don't do that, because I will play you real good, just like you're trying to play me. Hello, I don't like that kind of atmosphere. But here's the deal: don't do that. Everybody has a right to their thoughts, their opinions. They have a right to share what they've seen, what they and what they've been involved in. It is and how they feel, regardless if it gets on your nerves or not. It is what it is. I'm like Dr. Demery. I don't care. Like I tell people, you mess with the right one. I don't care. I've been through enough hell in my life to make you shut me down from my thought process. That's not flying here. So let me put that out there. Okay. So in case you sending out a shady message to me, that's not. I don't care. My thing is this: I have my feelings, and I have a right to my feelings. I have a right to who I attach myself with, who I honor, and who I trust. And right now, I don't trust none of them charlatans, because I believe we all being played. It is what it is now. And so it's a travesty to me. We're all being played, and we all get played to be against each other's throats and stuff like that. I don't like that.
Pawns.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Of course we are. Whether you like the opinion or not, they're still entitled to it. And I know William said that, and thank you, William, for saying that. We are all entitled to our opinion, whether it makes us upset or not. You cannot choke your answer down my throat for me to accept it. I have a right to regurgitate on it. I'll use that in terms that a college term. Regurgitate it, dissect it, look at it, and then make my final decision. That is where I'm at. And I had to come to this place to be who I am today, whether I'm wrong or right in your eyes. And it is, like I said, the key word, it's in your eyes, who I am. And so that's on you, boo boo. Okay. So get a grip, get a grip, get a grip. Okay. Suck up just like you spit your opinions, and I have to take it and dissect it. When I get off here, I listen to the whole dialogue within my own mind. Get your grip, boo boo, okay? Because right now we still have freedom of speech and freedom of feeling, and it is
For
what it
now.
is. And so, yes, and if it takes too long for me to say what I'm gonna say, okay, all right, turn me off. You ain't got to listen to me. I'm cool with that. Okay, it is what it is. I love y'all, and guess what? I'm gonna get off here still loving you all, but I will be open to share my opinions. Thank you.
Well, I what I believe the intent was from both Mike and from Dr. Sims is to draw parallels between what's going on the college campuses as well as what was happening on January 6th. Um, Basically, if you've been watching the news reports, you've found out, hopefully, that a lot of the people being arrested on the college campuses were not students. They were outside agitators. I'll just put it that way.
Instigators.
Right. And my concern is, are those people there to further try to destabilize America? Basically picking up where Russia left off with this destabilization espionage plan. Are they terrorists, looking to wreak more havoc? And if they hadn't been arrested, could have possibly done some real severe damage, and not just damage to the property, but hurt the students. And on top of that, were they just trying to, as Mike called it, just instigate, just make a bad situation worse? I don't know. It could have been people who were legitimately just wanting to join the students in a peaceful protest. I don't know, but I do know that it begs the question: what was the purpose of those people being there? Reverend Demery, did you want to add something?
Oh no, I'm listening and go right ahead.
Okay. So in terms of, what was going on with January 6th, I think they were just trying to make parallels, to say that there were people there, who weren't just folks who came to a rally. It has been well documented, that there were people there who were active military, as well as retired military, active police as well as retired police. You even had people who were, politicians from different states who were there, and those who were running for office. So there were a plethora of people from all, backgrounds and whatnot, who were there at the insurrection on January 6th. So that's been well documented. And they were there, to cause harm. They had, zip ties. They erected a doggone, what do you call that thing? The hangman's, noose and all that stuff. They were not kidding. It got really ugly. And I'm concerned that the people showing up at these rallies may have those same motivations, those same ill intent to cause harm, to cause destruction, and even to hurt people if they hadn't been arrested. I hope, that's not the case. But I'm concerned that is what happened. Reverend Demer, I don't know if you've been watching the news to on that particular front, but if you have, you go ahead and let us know what you think.
Well, I want to say this, first off. If I have offended anybody by what I said, because if you take things personally and let it affect you, then you're doing something wrong. But I want to apologize up front if I've said anything to offend anybody. Don't take it the wrong way. Don't take it so personal. Don't let your personality be so touched that you're hurt. And I want to apologize up front. So I apologize to anyone.
Stop. You don't need to. Please
But,
don't. Please
um,
don't. You do not need to apologize. This is a free speech platform here. So please don't apologize, because we appreciate your input.
Well, but I know some people take things personally, and I don't want to offend anybody. So I would say this. And then I think Ann is correct that the proof behind what William was saying and what Dr. Sims was saying in terms of, and even you, Mike, in terms of, you know, people being planted there or not. Some of that we will never know. Some of it will come out, but I think some of it we'll never know. But to me, and I know I'm can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm a little on the conservative end. If I'm paying for my child, Ann is paying for her son to go to college, and they're out protesting, how can you ain't in your dorm room studying somewhere?
Mm.
Go to school. I'm not paying for you to be out protesting. Now I know in America we have the right to,
Right.
protest and to voice our opinions about certain things. But there comes a point when you stop someone from going to class, when you stop someone from being who they are, the Jewish students
The
being Jewish,
purpose,
stop them.
the purpose for being there.
Let me finish. If you stop the Jewish people from wanting to be Jewish and celebrate their heritage and their faith, or stop the Muslims from being who they are, and you want to protest on either side, I think that's fine. But the issue, or even if you're LGBTQ, some of you are so critical of the LGBTQ community, it's sickening. But the point being is this: when you get to the point where you stop someone from going to class and attack someone physically, attack them mentally and spiritually, I think that's wrong. And that's what happened, I think, on both sides. Because on the Jewish side, like Ann said, you had people that were there that were agitators. They were not even members of the school. And you had people on the Palestinian side who were not even students. They couldn't show their student ID, because when they started checking student IDs, you notice how the whole temperament went down. because you had to have been a student to be there. And you had a lot of people there that had no business being there, were there for
Right.
ulterior motives. And
Mm-hmm.
so, the point being is I think the students have to realize, why am I here? I'm not here to protest, although I can. I'm here to
Hello.
get an education. And USC is one of the most expensive schools in the
Mm-hmm.
country. So, I went to UC Riverside, and it wasn't expensive as USC. But the point being was, if my mom saw my big head on
Right.
the news, my second job
Right.
to put me through school and see me out there.
Right.
Look, this fool's out here protesting. How come he ain't studying? Studying.
Right.
Ooh.
I would have something to answer for. Now, some people have scholarships, all that other kind of stuff. But I think the students have a right to protest if they want to. I think it's wrong for the agitators to come in who aren't even students at the school. Wrong for them to bar students from going to class and to stop them from. So they had to shut the library down at UCLA. The students couldn't even go study and do research. I know a lot of things can be done on the computer now, but Ann can tell you as
Still.
an attorney, if you don't have your law library to go do some of the research, it's hard to practice law, or it's hard to practice and study anything. I mean, when I was in seminary, if you couldn't go to the library and look up certain things, it makes your paper and your research a lot less effective. So I'll say this, and I say it again. I think we have the right in this country to do what we want to do, but here's where the problem comes in. And that's why we have police officers. That's why we have people like Mike to do the research, people like Dr. Sims to do therapy if your mind is so messed up, and people like Ann to be able to defend you if you messed up, or defense or whatever. If you want to invest your money, you go see somebody like William. But the point being is that when it becomes, invasive upon someone else's rights, then that's when it becomes a problem. When you effectively, physically attack someone, when you effectively physically bar someone and do harm to another person, that's when it becomes a problem. And that's where the issues, I think, occur. And we got to rise above that stuff. I was just talking in my sermon today, and I'm done now, that in John chapter 15, verses 9 through 17, that was my text today. Jesus talked about how we have to love one another, not brothers and sisters, not just men. It's not just about a brotherhood; it's about a sisterhood as well. And when we get to the point where we can start loving one another and stop physically attacking one another, mentally attacking one another with malice aforethought. That's a lawyer term, and you know what that
Yes,
means.
it is.
So when you get to the point where you start doing that, it means actually with ulterior motives, to go out of your way to attack someone, then that's where the problem is. Now I'm
Right.
through. I'm sorry.
Right. Hey, that's okay. And we've
So,
got about 25 minutes to go. Okay.
so
And I
William,
want to
I've
share
got
this.
William. I got a quick question for Dr. Demery. Now, do you believe it's okay for college students going to a college to use that platform to protest when they're there for an education? Because I think you said earlier that's okay. Is that your point of view?
Well, I would say this. I think the students, if they have the time to do that and they have studied, yes, I think it's okay for them to protest. That's right as an American. But the problem I have is when you have outside agitators coming in, people who aren't even students, and then when the
Agreed.
students begin to attack one another and physically,
Agreed.
mentally attack one another, and that person is not able to, practice their faith or their belief, that's when it becomes a problem. Because I mean, when I was in college, we protested things. In my fraternity, we protested things. And so the thing is that yes, it's okay for students to protest. I mean, this is my opinion. Some people may disagree with it, but I think you are there for one thing and one thing only, and that is to
There you
study.
go.
I can tell you one thing: if I was at UCR and I was protesting an issue, I did make sure I got my books done and my papers done and prepared for my exam first before I went
Right.
out and start protesting. And I think Andy
Indeed.
tell AJ that, boy, you better make sure you're studying before you go out and start protesting some cars.
Right.
Right.
Because some of
Thank you
those
for the
folks out there, I'm like, do
clarification. I
you even have
appreciate
a
that.
Oh,
dog in this hunt?
Oh
Right,
Lord.
absolutely.
hey, speaking of AJ,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was so thrilled yesterday when you talked about AJ's recent honors. Would you please share with the audience about your son's accomplishments?
Oh, it was a blessing. Thursday night they had the academic uh excellence ceremony at the school, and so we were expecting him to receive his honor cord and stoles for his, that go over his graduation gown. And of course, they told us there would be a certificate given with it, but he ended up getting two certificates for
Mm.
academic excellence, in addition to his honor cord and cords and stole, and then he got a medallion for ranking cum laude in his
Yeah,
graduating
Woo!
class. So praise the Lord. We give God all the glory for that. He did very well.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
graduated. I did not graduate cum laude or laude or semi cum laude. I graduated thank you laude.
You know what?
That's what my
You,
sister said.
Dr. Demi, I didn't expect that from you. I expected that from Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Where did you graduate?
Well,
Hey,
Dr.
Mike.
Dimry, can I ask at first, Dr. Dimry, I want to apologize because my mind is all over the place, and so are my feelings are all over the place in light what I've went through for these past couple months. So I apologize for coming at you that way, and that wasn't right. But not that I didn't mean what I said. Okay, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all know me.
That's a
But anyway,
backhand. That's a
y'all.
backhand compliment, Dr.
Oh,
Demi.
don't start nothing, William. Don't stop it. But anyway,
It
because
was
y'all know I
backhand.
love you, or else I wouldn't be here. I love all of you. But my thing is, why is it that people want to? And maybe you can answer this too, and William. Why is it when you achieve such high accolades in school, and because I had somebody tell myself personally, and I've heard it from others too. Why are you bragging about your accomplishments and this, that, and the other? How come you got to tell people such and such and such? Well, first off, I was 55 when I got it. Okay, that's an
Mhm,
accomplishment by itself. And then when you hear your children, like such as Anne and my
mhm.
granddaughter, my children, who are
Exactly.
God is really blessing in school, and it
That's
takes a
right.
lot these days
Mhm.
for our children to go through school the way things are going right now. And when you
Mhm.
have your children, because I testified, I'm not trying to rain on your parade, and we
Of
walk in this
course
thing
not.
together because your sons
Of
are
course not.
awesome. My children, my grandbabies are, and the one I just
Yes.
announced, she got her
Amen.
rope of achievement in Beta Theta Sigma. I can't pronounce all of that, but anyway, she got
Right.
two ropes away, and that is an accomplishment. But you have haters out
Yes.
there, man. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
that are jealous. Why do you think that is, and why they try to talk you down from even achieving even more?
It,
Mm,
I,
I tell
it,
mine to reach for the sky, you
I,
know.
I can
mm,
act, I
Um,
can actually I can answer that. First,
Yes,
mm,
forgive me
please.
for butting in, but some people the only way they feel good about themselves is by
That's right.
you heard me say this before, by standing on the necks of others. So they put themselves on a platform or a pedestal because they
mm.
can stand on you and go, oh well, that wasn't all that great, and
That's
wow,
right.
that's
I'm
good.
way better than you. And that's a psychological, and a lot of my background, like you, Dr. Sims, is psychology.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's the way
Wow.
people, for momentarily, and it's only for that moment where they can put you down to feel better about themselves, but it only lasts for a little bit, and then they have to find somebody else to stand on the neck of their
That's right.
Mm,
fellow man.
Mike,
mm,
I couldn't agree with you more.
Mm.
I could
mm.
not agree
Oh
with
my!
you more. You're exactly
Oh
right.
geez, William agreed with me.
Yeah,
Oh, did you
yeah.
take an act right pill? Did you
No,
take an act
I'm not.
right pill,
And,
Wow.
William?
and you know what? And
Oh, oh,
I'm
I
not
think he
taking
took
one
an
either.
act right
I'm
pill.
not okay. I'm not taking one either. Okay. Now, anyway, let me go to this. We've got a few minutes left to go, but I need to do this before let's just do this right now. And I want, especially and Dr. Demery and Dr. Sims to comment on this.
Mhm.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Neighbor as yourself. Don't be talking to me about my spiritual responsibility. Some of you bring politics into the church. You think that politics is spiritual stuff. Politics is of this world. You think it's your duty to be political about this, that, and the other. No, your duty is to serve the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, body, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Don't be talking to me about my spiritual responsibility to vote. Don't be telling me that voting is spiritual. See, that's what happens when you don't read and pray. When you don't read and pray, you say, wow, there's a Bible out now that includes the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Isn't that wonderful? No. No, it's disgusting. It's blasphemous. It's a ploy. Are you kidding me? Some of you are so encouraged by that. Let me tell you something. The gospel is not an American gospel. It is the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ.
And this guy, Pastor Lauren Livingston, is spitting.
Okay.
And he
I
wasn't
want to
done
stop
yet.
that right now.
He's got more.
Let
But
me
Pastor, I
stop
bought the
that.
Bible. Really?
Let me stop this. Okay.
You're telling me.
Okay. I'm gonna hold it. All right. Now, I want to start with Dr. Demery.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what this pastor is talking about, and he happens to be evangelist, an evangelical preacher. And anybody who has opened up a newspaper or turned on TV or went to Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, or whatever it is, you know exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about the USA Bible, which is endorsed by Trump. Now, if you are a spiritual person and you truly believe in God, and even if you don't, are you okay with somebody pimping the Lord's Bible this
Mm.
way?
Mm.
And I'm putting it that way.
I'm sorry. Can one of you explain what the USA Bible is? Because I'm not familiar.
Okay. The USA Bible is one that's endorsed by Donald Trump. And it has in it Bible passages or scriptures as a normal Bible would. But included with that, they've included the Constitution, I believe, and they've also included the Bill of Rights and two other political.
Into the Bible?
Yes.
Yes,
Into the
sir.
Are you serious?
And look it up for yourself. You can find on YouTube.
No, I believe you. No, that's why I'm asking. I believe you guys. I trust you.
Yeah, and there are four things that they've included that are political documents. Like I said, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and I think there are two other. And help me out. And they put together that in a Bible, and they are selling it for $59.95. And Trump is selling these Bibles. Some people call it the Trump Bible. Some people call it the USA Bible. And
Wow.
I'm asking.
Wow.
Okay, let's go to Dr. Demery.
I will be brief because I know we have a short amount of time.
Man.
And some may disagree with this, and that's okay. This nation was not founded under God to be
All
able
right.
one nation under God. That is nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in the Bill of Rights, nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. This nation, and it has to be established on separation of church and state. William knows me very well. I will not have a politician. I will not let a politician speak at my church about politics because they are not part of the church. Now, I agree with this guy up to a point. Now, I also have to say, and I've told my people this at my church, um, as Black people, if you do not go out and vote, you are slapping your ancestors in the face.
All
Me
right.
people in our heritage were bitten by dogs.
Mhm.
Woo! Shot with water hoses
Oh
and
my
beaten.
God.
And
Mm.
for you to not go out and vote, to me, that's
Amen.
a travesty. You are
Yes.
slapping the ancestors in the face by not
Amen.
voting. Is voting spiritual? No. But we have a heritage, we have a history, we have been brought by the things that have made us who we are. And if you
Mhm.
do not go out and vote, I think you are slapping the ancestors upside the head. Those women
Mhm.
who did the things that they need to do to get us where we are, those
Amen.
men who went and got beaten at lunch
Yes.
counters for the right
Yes.
to vote. So, is voting spiritual? No. Is it something that we should do? Yes, because it
Mhm.
is our right. Is
Mhm.
voting
Indeed.
spiritual? No. That's all I
Mhm.
have to say, Warrior.
But it's
Indeed.
Dr. Sims,
obligation. You have an
It's
Dr. Sims,
it,
obligation.
your
Not
take on
just a
what I
right,
just
an
played.
obligation.
That's
yeah.
right.
Right.
It is, and thank you, Dr. Demi, because you're right. Because my heart is feels the same way. And if people
Mhm.
don't vote, you and I can't talk because there's no sense in you sharing your opinion with me, and you won't get
Mhm.
yourself up and go vote. Okay, it is what it.
Right.
Do the
Step up.
primary
Exactly.
Step
and
up.
the major voting. I have to have a voice because my thing is our voices have been shut down. This allows me to have a voice,
Mhm.
okay, and allow
Mhm.
me to have a place. Whether some things happen wrong or right, it still gives me a voice. At least I can stand proud and say I was a part of the outcome, and it is very
The greater good.
important. When I even think about we can go back as far as our lives, what we
Mhm.
have endured coming up as young men and women.
Mhm.
We have faced a lot of travesties. It's important that we vote. Now, the politic part, I don't believe in rallying, even though they rallying for pastors and you know I'm gonna go here and voting them in, okay, like they running for office. I even have some pastors doing private investigators behind people who are on the ballot in the church.
Really?
That yeah, oh yeah, I'm telling you, it's a gamut of things, and that's why I pay attention to those arenas because we are supposed to be different. The houses
Mhm.
of prayer are
Mhm.
supposed to be different, and the leaders that we placed up there is supposed to be God-given leaders after His heart. But now they're passing ballots and they padding people's hands and cashing putting in their pockets and things like that. Dr. Dimino, I'm telling the truth. And you don't get anointed up there, you get paid folk up there that
Mm.
makes a mess out of the
Ah,
children of God. And that's why they're in such a travesty today, walking away from the things of God because of the crap that they are instituting over the pulpits. And so we've got to separate. There is a separation because we
Mhm.
cannot do the things of the world and the way the world is doing them. God
Eh,
has called for a separation for
Come
us.
on.
There has to be a difference. And when the Lord says, don't, we have to turn away from this, no, not be interactive. And I may say it wrong, through this untoward generation. This generation is godless gotten to the point where they're almost godless. You got
Mhm.
people coming out of prison from prison to the pulpit, don't know two scriptures and four songs, okay? And they
Hey.
coming in there getting paid because they feel like it's a quick pay up. And a
Yep.
lot of them are
Oh,
using the church, they're pimping God's house. Now,
Mhm.
this
right.
Bible that you've been talking about, okay, go down to the ends of
Ooh.
times. They have alienated some of God's word. Even in the King James Version, they've taken some things out. In this Bible, this new Bible that Trump wants to institute, there's a talk about total freedom of everybody. Come on now. Does it talk about our freedom of expression? Does it talk about changing one's lifestyle because it's abomination to God? If you're going to deal with the truth, deal with all of it. Okay, don't give me part of it because it's going to suit your fancy. And I'm not paying no $59.99 for no Bible, okay, because I can get it online. I've got several Bibles of my own that I study, okay, that I can get now. They selling them for real cheap now.
Come to my church, I'll give you one free.
I know that's right, Dr. Demery, okay? And they got them in the hotels and the drawers, okay? So come on now. I don't have to. I don't have to. He's trying to rate, but here's what it is. That's a sympathetic, and when I say about people working on people's psyche, that's a sympathetic move, working on people's mind. Because I remembered him when he walked down to the church and held the Bible upside down. He don't think I remember that, but held it upside down like Hitler did. So that to me, I equate him with that too, with that arena. That's what he did. And I remember a whole lot that he did. I'm remembering a whole lot that's going on this other side. So guess what? I have got to trust in God. That's who I trust in. And the word of God is clear. The word of God is a constitution to me. It tells me how I live. It tells me how I'm free. It tells me. Men don't tell me. When I say men and women, both of, they don't tell me the true essence of God's word. I have to get in the face of God, form a relationship, or else I'll be fooled by everything that's coming across this media. If I didn't have a relationship myself with God, I would be so fooled by these charlatans, because the Bible says in the last days, prophets, men's going to be lovers of themselves, okay? And these false prophets are going to come forth lying on God, okay? Rewriting stuff, okay? Cutting each other in the back, okay? While they grinning in your face. So guess what? The Lord says, don't have confidence in flesh. That's exactly what he means. And so guess what? My confidence is in the word of God. And I know what the word of God is saying. And I'm ever learning, because God is sharing me treasures in the word of God, the hidden treasures of God's word. Whatever I need to see, God will bring it to fruition. I don't need no man stand up there selling no Bible because he need money. I don't need that. I don't need no man in the pulpit lying because he got to pay his rent and his car note. I don't need nobody who won't work, who won't feed the hungry, who won't do this, who won't do that, but want to flex. I don't need nobody standing up there acting like they're God. I don't, and I won't stand for it. And it is what it is.
Right. And next week, hey, Mike, jump in. Next week, we're going to expose some of the most corrupt pastors. Okay. We're going to do this next week. I think we're going to start off with this because, folks, there are a lot of people, Mike, that go to church each and every Sunday.
Yep.
And Dr. Dimmer said years ago, Sundays and churches, and Dr. Dimmer, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm paraphrasing, that is the most racist day of the week. Okay? Because my thing is, why do we have to have all of these different religions if all of us are supposed to be worshiping the same God? Mike, the floor is yours.
Well, I would say my church is in my heart every day. I don't go to,
all right,
I don't, and as much as I enjoyed Dr. Demery's church in Mentone, they were absolutely wonderful to me. But I don't need to be in that building to worship God. I don't need to be there on Sunday only. My worship should be every day of the week. My respect for God in my life should be every day of the week.
Come on, brother.
I'm going to add to that by saying, listen, you have a choice in life. You can be part of the problem or you can be part of the solution. It's up to you. And I choose to be part of the solution. So I'm going to leave you with that.
Like you, Mike, Dr. Sims, Dr. Demery, and Ann, man, I just love this panel. I absolutely love this panel. And the thing about it is, I don't have the last word on anything on this panel. And I want to look at this.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
I don't. No, no, no.
Oh.
See, hey, Mike, this is not Mad Mike and Wild Will Coast to Coast on
Well,
Thursday.
I gotta carve out another 20 minutes just for William.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
It's the win.
It's something. I love my partner. I love my partner, Mike, but something wrong with him. Okay. And I think he's been taking Dr. Sims Acray pill.
No, he hasn't. He was trying to give them to you.
I've been taking a double dose of the Actrite pills because you don't take yours, so I'm taking yours on my behalf.
He said he's been taking a double dose. All right.
And see, that's the problem.
My headache. Just
Yeah. Your headache along with your hairdo. Along with your hair. Along with your hair.
Hey, how's my hair, William?
It's beautiful, Mike.
Thank you.
Hey, did you use a mousse on that?
Mousse. I use mousse.
My goodness.
And you notice, I want you to look real close. There's no red hair in there at all.
Oh, no,
Wow.
you didn't. No, you didn't. On the sly.
Oh, yeah, I
Since
did.
you talking.
Oh, yeah, I did.
So Anne's going to be with you.
Yes, I did.
Since you talking. Anyway, whatever. Anne's going to be with me on this coming Thursday with Dr. McKenzie.
Oh, yeah, Anne's gonna save you. Good luck, Anne.
Whatever.
Good luck, Anne.
And you have the last word. And you have the last word.
Reverend, I'm sorry, not Reverend, but Dr. Sims was saying that she's going to have me in the hot seat on Thursday.
She's going to be with me. Listen, William, so you can go to Vegas too. But anyway, have Ann on Thursday. Her and it's Dr. Marie Kinsey, right? That's going to be
a nurse, actually, a registered
okay.
nurse.
Well, she's going to be. I've talked to her on the phone, and she is awesome.
She is.
Oh, and she is awesome. And we just had a staff, a family, who talked about the grandpa and the daddy abusing them sexually and doing wild things.
Wow.
I wanted people to hear them and their story on this past Thursday. It's amazing. It was a granddaughter and a brother and sister that was messed with by this man. And some of the students in school, he did it. I needed people to see that I'm just not talking out of my ear.
Wow.
I wanted them to hear personal testimonies. And then I talked with Dr. McKenzie. She has her own story. Now it's amazing. So Anne and I call her Dr. McKenzie. I might as well give it to her. Dr. McKenzie are going to be with me on this coming Thursday. It's going to be phenomenal. And this is the journey that God has me on right now about exposing things that are hidden, even today among us as body believers in and out of the church that I have to deal with. And sometimes I get off that phone crying when I talk to people because it hits me at home. And just to know, when I say these people went through some vile things, almost the bestiality, all kinds of things that the Father had them doing. It was just amazing to me. And I was just in tears, and my heart hurts for them because mine wasn't quite as graphic, but it was graphic enough. But
So how do we listen to you on Thursday? Because I know you changed.
I've sent it out and I'll send it to you, Mike, on your via email,
please,
as well.
Please,
because I do have to air at different times because of their work schedules, and so I'm also on YouTube as well. You type in Dr. Cecilia Sims, and I've downloaded my shows on YouTube as well. You can go there and just type in Dr. Cecilia Sims or Miss Cece's Kitchen, and it will lead you right there.
Awesome.
And so I will send you the link the day that the air, if that's okay. And so we've got a good showing, a good excellent showing coming out, and people are responding to this. But Anne's going to be on there with us. We're going to talk about the eating of active worship, right, Anne? That GMO, I'm genetically modified. Lord have mercy. Anyway.
I'm gonna have to check it out. But you know, you have
it's gonna be awesome.
Yes,
you have yet to invite B on your show.
William, you've been on there twice. I keep telling you, you are just horrible. You're just like a little spoiled child. You are horrible. You've been on the show twice. You've been on the show twice. You talked about finances. One you just came in on, okay, with me and my
And
co-host. And the other one, I invited you by
Spank, spank.
yourself. It was
I
you
take
and
offense.
I.
I take offense to you saying I was
I
horrible.
don't care.
You know, sometimes
I
sometimes
am
it's
never
just
horrible.
sometimes
How
it's
you dare? How
distasteful.
dare you?
Oh,
How
yeah.
Sometimes
How
okay?
dare I?
very
Oh,
distasteful.
you know
But
you have
sometimes
to pay for this one.
sometimes you have to spank your children.
Like what? I'm not a child. No,
He
she
is
was.
not my child,
saying,
Lord. He would
No,
be
no,
acting
no.
like if he was my
I
child.
have.
He is not my child. Thank
Well,
you,
hey,
Lord.
well,
guess what?
he
You
might
are
need a
not my
spanking
brother.
anyway.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Well, hold it. I've never been horrible
Uh,
on
it
any
matter
program.
it's a matter who's formulating that opinion at the
Well, it's
time.
not you.
It is me.
Okay? That's your opinion.
William,
And
stop digging
Let me
a
sweetie.
see
hole.
those guys.
William, stop digging.
You know, as a matter of fact, you haven't always
Lord.
been perfect. So don't
Oh no,
stop me.
I admit that. Oh, I admit I need help. You're the one
Don't
that say you don't
call me.
need help. I admit mine. You're the one who's in denial.
No, you're not gonna
Now,
do this.
moving right
Ain't nothing
along.
different.
Hello.
There's nowhere in the world
How
she
you
gonna call
doing,
me
Mike?
horrible.
How you
Are
doing,
you?
Mike? Got nothing but love for you.
You know what? You need to drop the act right pills and some get right pills. That's what you need.
I'm gonna mail you a crate. I'm gonna mail you a crate of them now.
Great.
I'm gonna go to ship them
Wow.
right back too.
Guys,
Let's
and
see. We got the crates.
And
We got
Yes.
Dr. Dimmer, what did you
um,
say?
I said you did not let Ann finish.
And
Thank you.
okay.
please finish. And,
So
and,
tune in
and
on
Dr. Dimmer,
Saturdays at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time for the Eating as an Active Worship Ministry show. We just we talk about the
call
biblical
me
principles
horrible. What is
regarding
wrong
the
with
body,
you?
dieting, exercising, and maintaining a healthy body for the glory of God. Then keep it locked on Studio W Buzz because right after that show is the Teens Talk Truth radio show hosted by my sons AJ and Alex Taylor. They discuss hot topics affecting teens in our society today. And even though they don't have a live show coming up this week because AJ has to be at school on Saturday, they are planning. They've been doing this themselves, a show with their friends.
Oh,
AJ
that's
is gonna have his friends
Mm.
talking about the transition from high school to college. And Alex and his friends are still working out their topic, but they may be talking about gaming because I believe he and these are the guys that they all want to start their own video game company together after they
yes.
graduate.
You know,
So
I heard about that
yeah,
too.
so it'll be interesting. The one of them will have the day off when the rest of their friends show up. So it'll be a interesting day for me navigating a bunch of new kids on the
And the thing about this is, I find that if you take one step forward towards an objective,
right.
something happens.
The Lord
And
shows
so
you
I'm so
more.
proud of them. I am extremely proud because when we launched Teens Talk Truth almost 10 years ago, it has changed so much, right? And with our last host and co-host, uh, we had Camille on.
Oh
Who
wow.
else?
She's
And
graduating too. She's graduating too.
whoa,
Nice.
Yeah.
are we going to the same school?
Actually, they were all at the same school, and for a long time. They went to the Montessori school together, and then they went to ESTM together. But she transferred to a school that was heavy on the arts because that's what she
Right.
wants to do with her life. But she's graduating this month too. So yeah,
Oh
me
boy,
and AJ are like a month apart in
I'm so
age. So
glad. I'm so sorry you guys have missed that because
mhm,
with Camille and
she's
AJ and
awesome.
Alex, that we're going back to what 2000 and oh God, help me
Yeah,
out,
it's
then.
been a while. It's been like it was before. It was what before the pandemic or right at the pandemic,
It was
something like that.
before the pandemic.
Yeah. And I'm guessing Randy's probably graduating too. I need to contact him because he's kept in touch. He was one of the
Oh,
co-hosts. Yeah. Yes. I
You
think
know,
he's graduating.
you know, Ann and Dr. Demery, Dr. Sims and Mike, our children are our future,
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
and we have to invest in them
mm-hmm,
and instill positive energy, support. Because I'm gonna tell you something, it makes a huge difference in the
mm-hmm.
message that we give to our children.
Indeed.
If you tell your child
Mhm.
you are no good, you'll never be
Wow.
anything,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, versus you can be something, be
Right.
the best that you can be. You are
Mhm.
smart. It has a whole different effect, doesn't it, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's our kids are sponges. We've talked about this in the past on the boomerang, and actually, I think we talked about it on Coast to Coast. But I mean, our kids are sponges. If you display bad behavior in front of them, they absorb that. If you
Don't they?
display good behavior in front of them, they absorb that as well.
Mhm.
So choose your words, your actions, your deeds, choose them
Man,
carefully because they're going to
Yeah.
absorb all of it. And
Mhm. Exactly. I agree. I
Dr.
agree.
Demery?
Mike, get in touch with me because we need to go over that security system that you
your
looked at.
cameras. No, no,
You're a little
no.
concerned after
He's
today's
being serious.
broadcast.
No, he's being
Well,
serious, right?
no, he's serious
We
because
are serious.
he's
Oh,
got a camera problem out there at his church, and I've been reading through the book, and
oh,
you can have up to 8 cameras at your church, and I think you only have like 4 that are functioning. But I will get back to you this week, and we'll make that camera system work for you.
Nice.
Four stole one of them.
okay, Dr.
What's
Sims.
that?
Any, yeah, well, if you guys are done, Dr. Sims, closing words.
Closing words. Well, I enjoyed the topic, even though I didn't start. I started off rough. I did. I came here rough.
We
But
don't care.
anyway, I know you don't care. So why you have me say something and you just gonna come back in there and
No,
say
no.
that
What I'm
and get me
saying
started
is,
again? Whatever, William. Bye.
hey, now,
Anyway,
you just like
and I
talking
love
with
you,
me.
girl. I
No,
love you,
you
Hey,
Dr.
sit in your
Demery. I
chair,
love
talking
you.
with
William.
me.
Sit in
I'm
your
Look at his
chair.
head. Anyway, look at him. He's so sassy.
Sit in
Anyway,
your chair.
Mike, you're a brother from another mother. Glad to have you. Glad to be here. Sit back and relax, William. Goodness gracious. But I did enjoy the conversation. But I think that everything that we look at from now on in the world society, it should cause us to think and ponder. And then that helps me to know how to pray. So that's where I'm at
Absolutely.
right now. And so I have a sympathy bone for everybody, not just myself, but for everybody that's hurting. And I just don't like the pain. I just don't like
No.
unnecessary pain put on people that's by others and ourselves. I can't deal with that because I told them on this show Thursday, I'm glad that God delivered my mouth because many
Mm.
of them would have been
Oh,
cussed out
Lord.